I've started my live stream without my glove. My artist glove. Alright, hold on. Turn this up a bit. Alright, I'll BRB actually. Oh gosh, I hit my mic. Okay, so my artist glove is gone. I don't know where it went. It's always a disaster. Every time I start streaming, something goes wrong. Okay, well, I guess I'll use this other one I don't like at all. What's up? Hello, welcome to the stream. I am MS, as always. I am, by the way, the music is by Remball Music. Please check them out on YouTube. I do not own the music. It's by Remball Music. I'll probably start putting a link in the description after my live streams end. That way you guys can check out their music because their music is very, very wonderful. I appreciate them creating really good, high-quality music that's copyright free. Typically the soul flowers will last like about as long as she wants them to. It kind of just depends. Typically how it goes for most ghosts is that you can hold, as long as you can hold it, which is usually determined on your your strength of your soul power, so how much control you have over it. And the more you use it and practice it, the more you'll have control over it and the more you'll be able to use it for longer periods of time. Sort of like endurance, like I kind of like compare soul powers to running in a way. Same with flying, where the more you do it, the more your body kind of gets used to it and you're able to do it much easier and maybe even at faster paces, like when it comes to running or flying for ghosts, for example. Soul powers kind of work similarly. You have to build up endurance in order to actually be able to use your soul power for a long time. So as long as you're constantly practicing and using it, then you'll have a high endurance, sort of like Ray and Rose do and a lot of the other more powerful ghosts. If you're someone like Perry or Mantis, you practice more than the average person does, but you're not really going to be able to hold them for very long. It really just depends. On average, a ghost like Rose could probably hold her power in total for like hours at a time. And only for after those hours would she start to kind of lose her endurance a bit. But that's like just to put in perspective how powerful she really is and how powerful Ray is, because he can also hold his powers for up like to 5 hours, because he worked himself to the bone, becoming an incredibly powerful ghost. So yeah, a lot of it just really depends on the ghost, but for the most part, it's very dependent on the person's endurance, how much they practice, etc. And like for other ghosts, it would be completely different circumstances. And if you're a phantom, well, you could pretty much just do it like for days and weeks. Soul power would just come so naturally to you at that point. Even if you didn't practice, just by the fact that you're a phantom, you would have like no issue with your soul power. So yeah, it is what it is. I definitely know that I want to also go over some more phantoms at one point. I do finally have some Marmothius art. I drew this a little bit ago. Let me pull it up real quick. I got some Marmothius. So yeah, here's Marmothius's design. I kind of drew this quickly so I could have a better grasp of what I want his design to look like, but I really love how it came out. This is one of the few first drafts I have of him. He comes into the story a lot later, but he is a really cool character who is pretty powerful. And I'll zoom in on the eyes to show how I drew them. So you can almost barely tell, like, you can almost barely see the lines because there's so many. Um, but yeah, this was like a nice little doodle to get his design out and trying to finalize his design, because I've just really I have like a couple of like practice drawings of him, but I didn't really have a solid design yet, and so I kind of drew this with the intention of solidifying his main design. So yeah, I really like how this came out. I love his color scheme. He's a really fun character to write. Like other Phantoms, he also will talk incredibly slowly. So, like, imagine like how dragons usually talk in a lot of like fictional stories and movies and games. Sort of like that. They're almost like dragons in a way, with how slow their speech is and how methodical they talk, because they're sitting on like hundreds of thousands of years worth of memories. And so, you know, I don't, obviously, as a human, we don't really know what your brain and your memory is going to be like in 100,000 years if you were to live that long. Because I don't think any creature on the planet has ever lived to 100,000 years. Definitely not. Not like a mammal or anything. But for the most part, I wouldn't really be able to tell you what the brain would act like in 100,000 years, but I would assume it's really full of memory. I would assume that eventually you would have to forget. If we're going off of like how life usually is, you would eventually forget your earlier memories. I think naturally you tend to forget most of your early memories, and then, you know, as you age, as you progress, you tend to have stronger memories with more recent things. It's not the same for everyone. Some people have photographic memories, some people have terrible memories like me. So it would depend entirely on, I guess, the circumstances of how your memory is in the first place. But I wouldn't have any idea on the core aspect of how crazy it must be to live for like 100,000 years. I mean, he's not alive, of course. I mean, these are all ghosts and phantoms specifically, but yeah, this is just a nice little kind of indicator of his design. I really like it. I really love how it turned out. Armathius is one of my favorites. Yeah, I mean, I plan to have more like questionable morality in some of my characters. I really like the idea of having more morally gray characters like Dirthier and stuff. Even Ray having some own morality issues himself and fighting the urge to be completely crazy with his power, because it can get very tempting. And that's a big thing he fights a lot of the time, is being an incredibly strong character with not a lot of control over his strength. So yeah, I could definitely see Ray being a having to make some morally gray decisions for sure. I don't know if I'll ever have him possess someone. It kind of just depends, but I feel like that's definitely something that I would like to explore for at least some of my other characters as well. I think possession's a very scary thing for ghosts. It's one of the most scary things that can happen to you, because you're losing complete control over yourself. And some ghosts genuinely hate possession so much to the point where they will like actively like fight it. Sorry, I didn't mean for my voice to get so loud there. But they'll like actively fight it and really just resist you as much as possible. And you can resist possession, it's just incredibly difficult, especially if you're a very weak ghost and you almost stand no chance against a stronger ghost. It's very unfortunate. It's also considered something that is just, like I said, morally just wrong. Most ghosts do not want to possess other ghosts. There's no reason to do it, really. Like, most good people wouldn't want to actually do that to someone else, you know? It's not exactly something you would want to do. I mean, it could end up being something along those lines. There's definitely a lot of stuff I need to write still, and a lot of possibilities for things that could happen in the future. For sure, it could be a scene where he either does try it or he ends up like even enjoying the aspect of it, because it can be kind of a controlling thing where you feel like you're almost powerful because of it. And you know, like I said, you do have to be at least a little bit skilled as a ghost to know how to possess, know how to fight people fighting back the possession, because people will fight back, and so on and so forth. So maybe I'll have a scene where Ray does possession. Kind of just depends on where the story goes, you know. There's a lot of things I want to do with the story, but I'm not sure just yet how much I want to dive into and how much I'm even gonna get to write in terms of, you know, the time and, you know, as I age, I'm like thinking more about what I want to do with my life, thinking more about how much time I'll eventually have for Ghost Mask, and I'm like, you know, if it never becomes a thing, I would be okay with that, but I would be pretty sad. So of course my goal is to continue working and writing, hoping that I can create some of these stories for you guys and make them actually come to life, more than just videos, but an actual like storytelling, you know, comic or, you know, show, something along those lines. I would really love something like that. But, you know, stuff like that is also like, is it really gonna happen? Am I really gonna be able to do it? You know, life is full of so many different paths, and I guess we'll just have to see how things work out. You know, I feel like I'm working really hard towards making something with my story, but I don't know. I could also work harder, but I mean, I think we all could work harder, and if you work yourself too much, you know, you burn out. So I'm hoping I can continue, at the very least, telling this story through my animatics and YouTube videos, which I always plan to do. I don't ever plan to stop making videos unless something happens, like I just end up like crashing from it. I don't know. And even then, I would think I would rather take a break and then leave entirely. But you know, that would just once again depend on circumstances, possibly out of my control. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I feel like of all the people, Mantis would really be disappointed if Ray did something like that. Because Mantis holds Ray to such a high, like, respect, because he knows what Ray's gone through. He's been there for a lot of Ray's time on Astromia. Obviously when he was a ghost, of course, but you know, even when Ray was a ghost on Astromia with Mantis, and Mantis was still alive, you know, he was there with him for a lot of it, and they got to know each other very well from being roommates and living together in the afterlife once they did meet again and reunite. So I feel like Mantis would definitely be incredibly disappointed with Ray if he does anything bad like that. Just kind of my thoughts on it. Ray's definitely, to Mantis, someone he looks up to highly, and even if he doesn't always say it, it's kind of like a really, like, quiet kind of respect, you know? Like, characters that will never admit that they're wrong, that's kind of Mantis, in my opinion. Like, a character that wouldn't openly admit they're wrong, or wouldn't openly say that they like you as a person. You know, they're definitely someone who would have sort of, like, mixed signals, or not outright say a lot of stuff. Alright, give me just a moment, you guys. Something just came up. Give me just a moment. Okay, guys. I have had something come up, and I'm really sorry to cut the stream so short. I've only been streaming for 15 minutes, but to make it up to you guys for having to cut the stream so short because something just came up, it's not serious, but it will affect my streaming capabilities, so I will have to cut the stream. I am so sorry, you guys. This was not my intention. I clearly did not want to cut my stream this short, but to make it up to you guys, I will be streaming on Wednesday as well this week. I will stream on Wednesday to make up for you guys because I know I wanted to have a longer stream. I am so sorry. I wanted to talk about my story. I wanted to make art for you guys, but something just now came up, and I really did not intend to cut the stream so short. I guess thank you for coming anyway. I'm so sorry that it is cutting so short. I really do apologize. I didn't want this to happen. I'm so sorry, everyone, but I will be having to cut it. Just some family stuff, family coming over. It will just be too noisy, and there will be too much going on for me to continue, and I won't be able to continue the stream, and I'll have to go out and essentially, talk with people, and it just would be easier to just go ahead and cut the stream because it's gonna last like the rest of the night. So I will be having to converse with people, and I mean, I don't mind doing that, of course, but I just wasn't expecting it. So I will have to cut the stream short because they're going to be in here looking at stuff, and I'll probably have to tell them about the house and stuff like that. So I wasn't expecting that. Of course, it's nothing serious, like I said, but I wasn't expecting my stream, it's okay. I don't mind cutting it, but I do feel bad for you guys, so I will be doing a stream instead on Wednesday, because I think it would be easier, because if I have to set up my equipment again and then do it all again, it'll probably end up being like 9 o'clock, and that's just really late. I'm gonna be tired, unfortunately. I'm really sorry, you guys. It just would be easier for me to go ahead and just cut the stream now. Like I said, nothing serious, don't worry. Obviously, everything's okay, nothing's wrong. I just wasn't, I'm just thrown out of the loop now, so I'm, a little, still in shock. I'm like, oh, man, because I had, plans to stream, but it got cut short. I'm really sorry, once again, but I will be back Wednesday, because I really feel like I wanted to give you guys a long stream tonight. I know, Audrey. I know. Oh my gosh, you're yelling at me. I will have to cut the stream short. So I will see you guys later. I'm really sorry I do have to go. I think it would just be better to go ahead and cut the stream and not deal with, stuff like that. So yeah, I will be seeing you guys later. I promise I am going to stream Wednesday. I'm going to stream this Wednesday night to give you guys another stream and to give you guys a bit more time to actually enjoy the stream and talk and stuff like that. So I'm really sorry for cutting the stream short, but I will have to go now. I hope you guys have a good night. Thank you for coming, even though it was incredibly short stream. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for coming. Hold all your questions. I will be answering questions and talking about my story. Don't worry. I promise I will be back Wednesday, probably 6 or 7 p.m. like you said. Exactly. Sounds good. Thank you for watching though. Bye guys.